What do you guys think about the dollar?
The dollar?
Yeah, the dollar.
The
You know what the dollar is?
What's a dollar?
I know exactly. What is a dollar? Anybody?
Paper good
like
has value.
a dollar.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of people call a dollar commonly. But like, what if you're paying by debit card? This one of these doesn't even change hands. So what is?
That still count?
I mean, it's just money. Ever since Reagan, right? It hasn't even been backed by gold, so it's just shit that we use.
Wait. So a dollar is money, but is money necessarily a dollar?
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt, right?
Not necessarily.
I see. So what else could be money?
Services like
Service?
bartering.
Bartering?
Yeah.
Salt.
Could be money?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Well, it couldn't
like,
be money.
Bartering's bartering.
Yeah, it could be a term of money.
It couldn't
but
be
it's like-
money
I
though.
mean, if you put value on it.
I mean, it depends. What are the three traits of money? It's like means of exchange has to hold its value, and
Fungible, easily divisible.
yeah, easily.
Divisible
Wait, is that
by
one of them?
yeah, divisible by any amount. Yeah.
I don't think that's one of them.
Okay, no, like you can take a bar of gold, but you can be like, okay, actually, I'm gonna give you a third of this, or like a quarter is, or like 1/10 of this. The point is, we're not limited to only like all or nothing, or only specific like divisions of it.
Oh,
it's
people
got-
will have to agree on it.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the people who agree on it will be the people in the game for that particular currency. Not everybody agrees on the dollar being what they want to participate in. Around the world, there are some people who will not take dollars, right?
Yeah.
There's some people who have the monopoly.
That's right. So that is good.
What was that?
I said there are some people who will not play Monopoly with you, and
And what happens at the end of the game of Monopoly?
it's 7 hours later, and everybody hates everybody else.
But what else happens?
Somebody's bankrupt.
Somebody
money.
owns everything, and everybody else is just like,
Well, what happens after that?
I put up the game.
You
It all
skin
goes
your
back
friends
into the
and
box,
eat their
right?
intestines.
depending on your cleaning habits.
I always go with the heart.
Possibly.
Nobody's having fun anymore, and the game resets. People are like, let's start a new game.
Yeah.
So it's like a revolution.
Wait, one time
Yeah.
I played Monopoly with my cousins and I won in like the first like 2 rounds somehow. Like I got like all of the shit and then I just kept giving them money so they keep playing. We didn't stop the game. So like we would play for 2 hours and I'd just be like, oh, you're out of money. Here's $100,000. Keep playing with me.
Have a house.
So it's like a kind of like welfare, you know, to keep people interested and give them some more money so they're not totally
Yeah.
poor and they want to keep participating.
The bad part was though I had like all of the spots on the board basically, so like no matter where they went, they had to pay me back. It was good.
So it's basically like you
Yeah.
trapped them.
Living the life, living large, yo.
I am the 1%.
Like Warren Buffett, you know? Yeah.
She is the
She is like the single person. Like,
Nice. So did we figure out what the dollar really is?
It's
Really,
an
what is it?
idea.
It isn't, but what type of an idea is it?
It's an idea that we should be trading something for other things.
But we should be
in
trading
certain
one thing
amounts.
for everything.
Yeah.
Then it should be the one thing, like a monopoly.
Yeah.
A monopoly on currency. Right?
Pretty much.
Well, the one thing, not different types of currencies. It's not like new currencies can arise totally separate from the dollar. The point is, the idea is everything should be done in dollars. Even if we don't trade dollars, the idea is there's a dollar value to it. So it's kind of like this bottleneck we all channel through. Anytime we want to trade, it's kind of like what we call shady or illegitimate if we do not somehow tie it to dollars.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a way to control us.
Control us.
That's an idea.
It's the government controlling us.
No, it's
Through
really-
I feel like
the
money
fundamentals
controls the
of
government.
marketing.
It is.
So maybe it's a loop back.
Yeah, it keeps you
It's both.
like Stewart's game. You have to like keep doing whatever to get more money just to like give it back to.
Back to the government. It's all a
Yeah.
cycle. Money all ends up back in the same
Hamster
place.
wheel. Yeah.
That's why they don't want you to like go out and like live independently and grow your own food and crops because you'd like break the system and not have
They're
to
like,
like
yeah,
not be
you
in
can't-
a loop.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like buy property and like live off of it without having to pay taxes and
Yeah.
all
Live
that
in a house
stuff.
and only
Yeah, that's how we moved to Somalia. If you want to like move
Yeah,
to
well,
Somalia.
think about
Pirates.
livestock
No, no, right.
farming,
Yeah,
That'd be wonderful.
hydroponic system.
like even if you could like get it good enough to where you can grow all your own stuff and you like somehow traded for cows and like seeds and all this good stuff, you still have to buy that plot of land unless somebody else who bought it is just like, here you go. Like basically everything in every space.
Yeah, there's no free property for you to just acquire by just homesteading. Everything has to be bought from somebody because the government technically owns everything. They just lend it out to people who pay their property taxes.
They're just like, you have enough money, I guess you can hang out here, otherwise we don't really care.
Yeah, right, that would be awesome, yeah.
That's not everybody is.
Money only
Yeah.
means something because we make it mean something, though, right? Like that's kind of the point of money.
I agree.
Yeah, because we as
We
a
make
society,
it mean something.
But when you say we, who gives meaning to money? Who makes it so that everybody wants it?
the people
Everyone,
that use it.
everyone makes it so everyone wants
That's
it.
not
By
true. Not
using it.
everybody. Not everybody. I make people want it less
I mean, some people.
because I pose them really hard questions when we deal with money, so they might still take it, but they want it less. Because I don't worship money, for example. You know, I would love for everybody to stop wanting what we currently call money. I love the idea of money. I love the idea where we're talked about something that we can. It's like the ultimate like level of bartering, where there's this one thing that stands for everything, like a wild card. It's the wild card of bartering. It's awesome. But look what they've done with this. They made money as a whole illegal, and they're saying you can only use this one system. If we weren't forced to use this one system, it probably wouldn't have so much value.
If you couldn't share the one system with everybody,
wouldn't
like
work.
if everybody didn't use the one system,
Yeah.
then the money wouldn't matter because
It wouldn't have any value. 'cause
Yeah,
nobody-
because-
Oh really?
like-
Wait, but there's different religions, but they have their own churches, and it doesn't matter to those people. There's still religions going on. It doesn't have to be one religion for it to even matter, right? Why not money be in the same way?
Religion.
No, but money can be converted. Maybe I deal in two different currencies, so I can actually help convert. For
Yeah,
example,
right?
yeah,
It could be
it's
like-
already happening around the world. You can
Like
go
the
to
euro
money.
a money exchange. Yeah.
The government's in charge of everything, and the government's like, hey, here's money, let's use this like dollar thing or whatever. That becomes less of a possibility.
They're not proposing that we use their money.
No, we're forced into
They're
it.
actually they will punish you for using something that competes with their money.
Yeah.
well, that's not necessarily true though.
Really? Okay. Example.
Because there are other currencies that are usable that are not the dollar.
They're not tied to the dollar. They
Yeah.
compete with the dollar.
Like you can buy them with a dollar, just like a currency.
Like a euro.
Uh-huh.
But they're all created by a central bank, right?
Yeah.
Government.
And they're all what
By
they
other
call
governments.
legal tender by a specific group of people that call themselves government, that call themselves politicians.
Oh my god.
That's not necessarily
That's like what
true,
the
though.
government's for, though.
Like the government is
made
made
to
to
regulate
protect
things
money.
to make it easier for people.
But what is this government though?
Yeah.
Does the government exist? Does it really exist, or do human beings that call themselves politicians and government exist? What rights do they have, right, to tell you what you can do, what you can't do, and have all those demands backed up by police with guns? You don't have the right to do that, right? So by this magical incantation, this magical ritual of going into a voting booth and saying that person, that person, that person, that's who I want to represent me, right? However, if you can't do those things, how can you give them the authority to do those things? That's my question to you.
There's no
Well,
really
we don't
way.
give them the authority. They just put it upon themselves.
But it's believed that these people are representatives, that they represent you, and the reason why you vote for them, right, is that you are giving them the power over everybody. It's like going to watch a game of football, isn't it? One side wins, but really we know now that the game is rigged, that basically both sides are the same head of the same beast.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say both of those things are they hold true. Like, each one holds true. And honestly, with a country as massive as America is, it's all kind of a jumble of, like, people who believe in this system and will, like, faithfully go through with it, people who can't go through with it, people who just choose not to, like, vote or stuff like that. I mean, it's a really complex setup there.
But we're forced into it because even if you don't vote, the president can still kick your ass.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like the majority does whatever, and whoever's left behind has to deal with the effects regardless. So, I mean, that's basically how it works out.
Supposedly that's what the majority wants, but actually I think the majority is just complacent. A lot of people just say, well, you can't change it, so they just don't intervene. By default, there's the government has a lot of momentum. And if the government comes after you, there's not a lot of people who intervene to protect you because they're just like, well, there's nothing I can do.
Well, actually, there's laws in place to allow people to protect themselves from the government. Like, the Second Amendment is there just for the fact that if something goes wrong in the government, people can create militias and
Wait,
protect
have you ever
themselves.
tried to use that? Have you ever tried to create a militia?
I haven't needed to.
Okay, but if you did, what would happen to you?
You get
Practice.
shot down.
Either we'd win.
They're already walking. They don't want nothing to do with your militia.
They have to go to war.
Great conversation, guys.
Thanks.
Well, like, either we'd win and now I have the power and there's no more democracy and I'm the king of the world. Perfect
King of
scenario.
America.
No, you're jumping way ahead. Let's say you were
Or-
starting. You were just saying, look, you were telling people, hey, let's get together and organize a militia and go fight the government. How far would you get?
Well, either we get the way I want to or I die.
No,
And
I
then
mean,
I'm
like,
dead.
don't you
You'd
think
probably what you want him to say is that he would just die, but he's.
I'm
not
just
gonna
saying,
say
what,
that.
isn't it going to be like a
Kill
knock
or
on your
put
door
in
pretty
prison.
soon, and they're going to start asking you questions about why you're going in and you know, essentially being a terrorist?
Well, I have protections. Like, if I haven't done anything illegal, like conspiring against the government is not illegal because that's what a democracy is.
Are you
for.
sure?
You can the
Should look that up.
democracy is made to allow people to conspire against the government.
Are you sure you can conspire against the government without legal
Absolutely.
repercussions?
As long as you don't conspire illegally, like as long as you don't try to murder people.
Wait, so what exactly would you be proposing that you and everybody who joins you do specifically?
Well, I guess the
Probably
civil-
murder people realistically, but like
Okay, so as soon as you do it,
if I have guns, then what's the government gonna do to me?
Wait, but like, isn't the civil rights movement was kind of like peaceful conspiracy against the government,
Yeah,
right? And that
it
worked.
took us places.
Okay, so it'd be great to, for example, if you said, "Hey guys, let's basically get together and agree that all of us are just going to stop complying with certain rules. Like maybe all of us together are just going to stop paying like an income tax. Just stop paying. So
Yeah.
that would be like a conspiring against some part of the government system, but it doesn't actually involve doing violence. So if you did that, you actually think that they wouldn't actually come and put you in a cage?
Well, if
Enough
enough people
people
did
did
it, then the majority says that it's
But
not
if
gonna
you
happen.
start trying to do that, you're not going to be enough people right off the bat. You're
Of
you're really
course,
vulnerable.
Of course.
So
You
how
have
are
to
you going
start
to use the
with a
Second
large
Amendment?
number.
You can obviously you can legally own a gun if you go through the legal procedures. Certain types of guns you can own. In particular, the really weak ones, the ones that aren't going to do much against the military. Because if you get one of those big
gun
ass,
does a good
like a
job.
cannon over there, see if you get yourself a cannon like that, you're in hot water. You're in trouble.
That's because people would rather be safe than have their freedoms, right?
Wait, isn't that an illusion of safety? Because you can't really be safe. But yeah, that's
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's the entire, like, the fall of America started with the Patriot Act, and we gave up our freedom
That's
to,
right.
like, actually do
That's
things.
right, that's right. They want to
for
be safe
safety.
so much that they're not even safe, but they're sacrificing their freedom. But they also do like to think that they have freedom, so they love to keep the illusion that they have freedom too. That's why they say, hey, we have people going to fight for your freedom. So,
Yeah.
it's denial both ways.
Yeah.
They're not safe, they're not free, but they think they're safe and they think they're free. Wow.
That means the government.
Welcome to the
really good
USSA.
job.
Yeah, I'm proud of the government, honestly. If I could control a mass of people like that, I probably would.
I'm impressed.
I mean, you'd be on a power trip?
Yeah.
I would do
he
that.
wants to be king of America. He was going to rename it.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd
Do you
that'd be
are
a
you
good
actually
time.
pursuing your dreams?
No, I'd rather just have a lot of money than have power.
So wait,
Wait,
do you
seriously?
want to
Yeah.
be king of America?
If it was an option, I would totally do it. But like,
Oh,
if you gave me a
waiting
choice,
for the option. You're waiting for people like, hey, would you like to be king? We kind of like wanna.
Well,
wanna
I
be
mean,
ruled
when
by
the
you.
option is
All you gotta do is
there,
say yes.
if I need to
Just
walk
say yes.
up and like do some terrible things to take power, I would do that.
Oh my god.
But I would rather not have to deal with power and like have money and just have my money make more money for me.
'Cause power is
What would you
stressful.
do if you were king?
I don't really care yet.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Realistically,
Yeah.
right now, in the mindset I'm in right now, it'd just make a lot of money.
Wait, right now money is king.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
He's
that's what I've been
literally
saying.
controlled by money.
No, money is controlling everything. Money owns everything.
I thought marketing
No.
controlled everything.
That's not true.
Marketing is how you
Money
spend
does
money.
not. The money does not own everything. That's too much overstatement. Money has a lot to do with a lot of things, but nobody doesn't own everything.
Also, we got sidetracked earlier talking about politics. We were talking about money. But not all money is tied to a government.
Okay, example.
Bitcoin.
Damn it!
Bitcoin.
Going.
Stupid, though. Also, Bitcoin's only relevance is that you can turn it into US dollars. Like, businesses use Bitcoin and then immediately turn it into money.
Are you sure that's the only relevance?
It's not though, because you can
Are you
buy
talking
things
like
with
the
Bitcoin.
black market, like the gangs that were using Bitcoin to like kill people? They paid people in Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's
right?
currency.
So it was a currency that the government couldn't track. So then people were getting like shot up.
And what's the
it was
government going to do?
untraceable.
Say you can't buy Bitcoin?
That's what they're probably going to do.
They can't. There's no way they can do that
Really?
because Bitcoin is untraceable. That's
Also-
that's
Yeah, but they
part
can say you can't use Bitcoin.
Anything that goes through a wire where people use their own computers,
The government can
regardless
track
of Tor or anything like that, can be traced back to its
Okay,
original
wait.
destination.
Maybe you did make a transaction with Bitcoin, and maybe it is in itself anonymous. But if they make it illegal for you to do so, it does mean that as soon as somehow you leak the information and you used it, you're subject for immediate arrest.
That's true.
So they can crack down on you. They can make it very dangerous. Well, it's like killing somebody. If you kill somebody and no one ever finds out, you're not going to get punished for it, right?
Exactly.
It's just a matter
You're
of no
just-
one ever finding out.
You want to kill someone and have no one find out, except you're just using money.
Yeah.
What's that movie where they like their life is money and like you lose and gain life?
Yeah.
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 We should just do that.
That
You'd be
movie's
dead in
awesome.
like a second. You just use all your
I'm just
money.
gonna
me
watch
broke.
it because of all the
Yeah.
references in the beginning.
I watched it like 5 times. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. It's so deep. If you watch that
Dude,
movie,
gambling would be so fun in that world.
You,
oh
that's
my
why you
god.
that
It
is
is.
exactly why you would lose all your life.
I
You
would
just
die
be like,
so
just be like,
hard.
All right, 20 years. Okay, 20 more years. You'd have like a second left
Yes.
before you'd go out.
Dude, white people would never die.
Yeah, that's basically that's like the sum of the movie. He's like he gets a lot of time and then he's giving it away to people, and they're trying to kill him because he's like letting people live beyond like what the government wants them to.
yeah, it's a very insightful
Yeah.
movie. It really is.
Yes, yeah.
If you
I've
watch
never
that and you
seen-
watch Idiocracy, you got
Yeah.
everything. You pretty much understand
you
our
said
today's
it.
world pretty well. So, you actually think the only reason Bitcoin is used is because you can convert it to dollars? The only reason.
Well, I mean, the only reason
Well,
it's
that's not really
relevant, because
I
like
think it's a major factor. Currency.
because like
yeah.
on like when Bitcoin like stuff was going up and down, like it was relevant because it would be like, oh, it's worth this many US dollars right now. Like it was all
Yeah.
Well, that's
about-
just to us.
right.
That's just to us because we're so accustomed to US dollars. As Bitcoin becomes a larger thing and as Bitcoin generates its
as
infrastructure.
and if.
I agree with both of you.
You see,
I think
here's,
you're right
here's the
about
problem, and I tend to agree with. Sorry, what's your name?
Stuart.
Stuart.
Yeah.
That basically, when you have a currency or something that you claim in is money, i.e., Bitcoin, why value it in dollars? Why say
They don't.
this?
You
but
value,
they do. Everybody, when you,
But
when
it's
you,
like, I mean-
But I mean,
when-
everything is valued in
But
dollars.
they do.
to a
They
certain-
say, yeah, but let's stop. If we want to get away from dollars and fiat currency and shit like that, let's stop talking about it. Let's stop legitimizing it. While ever you're talking and
cigarettes in
saying,
prison.
you know, this, you legitimize it, and she's correct. People make Bitcoin, right? They get Bitcoin from doing exchanges over the internet or whatever, or mine it or whatever. And what do they do with it? What do the majority of people do with it? They change it into dollars because they've got rent. Nope, not hardly anybody accepts Bitcoin in rent. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody that accepts Bitcoin in rent. Electricity. So people have got bills to pay, and those people, right, unless you've made a shitload of money and you've got your house is paid for, you've already paid for it in dollars, and you've got solar and wind generating your own electricity, and you're growing your own food, then basically, yeah, you're gonna transfer Bitcoin into fake fiat currency, right, in order to pay for other things.
But I mean, isn't Bitcoin also fake currency?
Yeah, it is. It's just ones and
Well,
zeros.
all currency is fake currency.
No,
I mean,
really,
it
it's
used
not.
to be
There are
backed by
physical.
gold. Like gold,
That's right.
when
It
salt
doesn't
was
have to be.
currency.
But why is gold currency?
Because gold was like one of the better metals, so that you wanted it more. And like when
Gold is
salt
useful.
was currency,
Well, now
Gold is
dollar
shiny
is
and gold is
the
useful,
better metal.
and it's limited. It's shiny. It's shiny, so it's useful for just visual art.
So then
Wait,
why
did you
isn't
know-
natural gas a currency then?
oil, like we can make petrol
Look, it
currency.
You
could be, but see the thing is, gold has this really sweet spot. You can actually physically work with it. You can actually like melt it into different shapes, divide it
It's
in many different
tangible.
ways. No, it's something you can work with, something you can physically trade. The problem is, are you going to be lugging around barrels of liquid or gas? Yeah, those could be used for trade.
That's why-
It's just some things have a sweet spot in trade, and gold is one of them. It doesn't decay. It's very easy to identify, very easy to test. There's no methods for testing if it's gold. So all around, it just happened to be naturally discovered to be a very good currency form.
And it
medium of
can be
exchange.
used for multiple
It
things.
doesn't mean
not
you
just-
can't use other things. That's the thing. It all comes down to barter is the general idea.
Yeah. No, but like I guess the point is like when U.S. dollars were backed by gold, it still felt a little bit more legitimate, right? Because gold is like this tangible thing that actually is worth a lot, which is worth a lot less in modern day society, like as far as usefulness goes. But we got away from that because it didn't matter as much anymore, and so now we just have this thing that everybody agrees, like the masses agree that it means something, so it does. And I mean, honestly, I'm okay with that because I don't know what else we would use that just works as well. Like the system we have in place does what it's supposed to, even if it's not what we want it to.
And I would rather have a currency than not have a currency.
You can't not have a currency unless some power out there bans currencies across the board. Because if
But no
currency-
power can do that
Right.
because
No one
currency
can
has
ban
such a
Prob-
heavy
well,
infrastructure.
Also,
well, I don't know.
currency
North
can
Korea,
change.
North Korea has demonstrated how many things can be banned. Okay, but here's the thing. If no currency is artificially instituted, but currencies aren't banned either, people are gonna naturally use all types of things as currencies, and gold, of course, is going to be used. I mean, obviously, people are going to use gold. They're going to trade gold.
Yeah.
But we'll trade whatever. Some people might agree to trade seashells. It might be like an honor system, and they will just agree that they're going to work with seashells. It's whatever. I mean,
But I
she
mean-
sells
What do you
seashells
think
by
about
the
time
seashore,
banking?
You know, it could be a
Have
market.
you guys heard
out
of
there.
time banking?
No, it's time banking.
Basically, it's on like a credit system where basically people get X amount of credit, and because there's all work to be done. So you have a bank, and when you go and do work for somebody, let's say he does websites, and he can come and if you have some gutters that need fixing.
I know
right?
the gutters.
He can come and fix the gutters, and what you do then is you credit him
But we can
the
talk
amount of
about it.
hours, right, to his time bank, and he gets those credits, right, and he can do work for people with websites, and he gets credits for that.
Well, but that's fishy though, especially if you do it with hours. Because like somebody could take a really long time to mow a lawn, and that would
No,
just be their
you
fault.
say how many credits that you're going to give the person to fix it,
Okay.
and you agree on it. So,
Sounds like a currency.
huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But it's not just like
It
any,
would be.
any money.
Yeah,
well,
but
I see,
but
that's
it's
the
you.
thing,
It's you. No, there's no third party involved. It's you exchanging your time that then you can then or getting time, right? That you can then go and spend at a grocery store, and they take their time, and then they can use it to.
Someone has to have these credits in the first
Yeah,
place.
you set up.
It's
You set
a
up.
common-
You set up a community
It's an
time
idea.
bank.
It's virtual, but it's like a common game that people can buy into. And if enough people buy into this game voluntarily, then then they can use that currency amongst
So
that
it's
group.
just the dollar again.
Well, except without the enforcement. Nobody's forcing you. You can join a group, or if you don't like how it's working for you, you can go ahead and stop.
They're actually
participating.
doing.
But eventually, everyone would join the same group. Like
They
the
might,
point,
and that's
the
great,
point-
but they can always unjoin.
so,
You cannot join the dollar. You cannot actually
So
unjoin the
you
dollar.
can't get in debt in this situation then.
You can get into that, yeah.
yeah, but if you
Then-
got into
then
debt, then you
you-
couldn't unjoin the system. You'd have to pay off your debt. Otherwise,
Okay,
you
yeah,
could
but
just
that's-
rack
but-
up a ton of debt
Okay,
and
but
leave.
with dollars you can't. Even if you're you pay off all your dollar debts, you can't unjoin the dollar system.
Yeah, but if all the community's into it, nobody's then going to want to do business with you, are you? Because you've got now all this stuff that you've had done for you, which you've then given out of your time bank.
Yeah.
So then you can't get out of the system because now
No,
you're
you
in
can't.
the system and you're in
No,
debt.
nobody's forcing you. Just that the people that you
Well,
were
see,
in
if
the-
someone jipped me like that, like if someone
I would force them.
didn't-
I'd put a
I
gun
would
to their
force
head or
them.
something.
I would
like,
force
give
them.
me my
Because-
time back.
No, because that's like what I'm supposed to do. That's why we have like the military to come in and protect our monetary interests. Because otherwise,
And I mean, money is just
People would
time,
just
right?
skate
Like I get
around.
paid $8 an hour. That's how much my time is worth.
I don't believe that's true.
I mean, your time's probably worth more, honestly.
I know people say this a lot about how much money their time is worth, but actually, wouldn't you agree that it just when you work a job that your salary is $8 an hour, technically doesn't it just mean that you agreed that when you work they will pay you $8 per hour It doesn't mean that your time is worth that much. I don't think anybody really is really necessarily making that claim in that contract.
Okay.
It's not your time. It's just that was the agreement.
Right.
Well,
So
yeah,
then that's
and
the
it-
same exact thing, right? I
that's-
would just agree, like, okay, gutters, that's like 10 credits. Give me 10 credits when I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because that's the agreement. I'm just saying it doesn't actually mean that your time is literally worth that much. You might make another contract and be paid in a different structure. It might be not even per time. It might be per project or per this, per that, per result. Your time is awesome. You can't get it back. Every day is different. It's
Yeah.
not something you can really put a value to.